So Uncle Trump recently took a trip to California to examine the devastation that these wildfires caused. And he had a sit down with LA Mayor Karen Bass. And I want to show you guys a little bit of that because the exchange between the two showed a lot about Uncle Trump. And it showed that he is a true leader. He's the guy that actually cares. Unlike these Democrats who continue to allow their state to burn, Gavin Newsom, this guy cares about the people. And I want to play a little bit of that. Also, he says something that I actually agree with in terms of in regards to FEMA. So with that being said, let's dive in.
I'll also be signing an executive order to begin the process of fundamentally reforming and overhauling FEMA, or maybe getting rid of FEMA. I think, frankly, FEMA is not good. I think when you have a problem like this, I think you want to go and, whether it's a Democrat or Republican governor, you want to use your state to fix it and not waste time calling FEMA. And then FEMA gets here and they don't know the area. They've never been to the area. And they want to give you rules that you've never heard about. They want to bring people that aren't as good as the people you already have. And FEMA's turned out to be a disaster. And you could go back a long way. You could go back to Louisiana. You could go back to some of the things that took place in Texas. It turns out to be the state that ends up doing the work. It just complicates it. I think we're going to recommend that FEMA go away. And we pay directly. We pay a percentage to the state. But the state should fix it. I'll also be signing an executive order to begin the process.
You know, I actually agree with that completely. And he makes a great point in terms of just the inefficiency of FEMA. You have a bunch of people who aren't familiar with the area, a lot of the times coming from a completely different state, sometimes across the country, right? Coming in, putting in all these rules and regulations and all this extra stuff. Well, you could just, hey state, here's some funding. You guys already have the people there ready to go. Here's some funding to get that started and to get that done. Have at it, right? The bureaucracy of it all is kind of eliminated, getting FEMA out of the way and just giving the money straight directly to the states that actually need it. And in terms of, because of course the talk on the left is Trump setting some or giving some demands for the disaster relief funds, right? I agree. California burns every single year. I don't think I can recall a year that California hasn't burned. Like, it's getting ridiculous at this point. I understand wildfires happen, but at a certain point, there has to be some things done. Like, why does California keep going through this? You know what I mean? There has to be some better ways to go about this because a state shouldn't continue to burn every single year. That's bad leadership, in my humble opinion. But let's continue on.
Mr. President, if I can just defend FEMA a little bit.
Yeah.
They brought thousands of people in. I don't know how they're doing in other states. They're doing a good job for us here. They've got a huge center that's open from 9 in the morning till 8 at night. But also, when you have a disaster this size, you need to be able to deploy thousands of people, which they've been able to do. Now, California, if we did it on our own, maybe we'd have thousands of people.
You do.
But if Rhode Island has a Palisades disaster, are they then supposed to keep
How many people do you have in California? 36? How many million? How many million people do you have?
But
you have 40 million people. You're not going to get a few thousand people? The problem with FEMA is they come from all over the country. They end up in arguments with your people from California because they want to do it a totally different way. And I can live either way, but you haven't gotten very much done with FEMA and all you have to do is look at North Carolina. It's one of the great disasters of all time.
And Mr. President, you can't
I agree with that 1,000%. And you also save money. I mean, think about it. Not only are you paying the workers of FEMA, but then you're also funding the disaster relief that FEMA is trying to help fix. When you could just cut out the middleman, which is FEMA, and give the money directly to the people that are already there. You're cutting out the middleman in the equation, so you're really saving a whole lot of money. You got a lot more funds to go directly towards disaster relief. And yes, I mean, a giant state like California, you'll have you'll have thousands upon thousands of people that are more than willing to help out. Look at what happened in North Carolina. And I'll probably make a video on that. How many people traveled from across the country? Just regular folks like you and I traveled across the country to go and help the people of Western North Carolina. You've got the Amish in North Carolina that free of charge built 300 tiny homes for these people, free of charge. Last number that I checked, there was 300 tiny homes for people to live in, like shed size homes. So it's nothing extravagant or anything, but it's a roof over your head, right? FEMA didn't come in and do that. That was local people. So
have Rhode Island maintain a staff of thousands and thousands of people waiting to see if they have a disaster.
You know who came in and fixed North Carolina or the process? Other states, people from all over the country came. And you have the same thing. You have
Facts.
a lot of people from all over the country. Getting the people is not a problem. Getting the organization's a big problem. FEMA's incompetently run, and it costs about 3 times more than it should cost.
I'm hoping
we
that
can
you
spend
can get
money on
Facts.
schools instead of giving money to bureaucracy. It takes you so much longer.
Mr. President,
It takes you so much longer.
FEMA for helping our people.
FEMA has a standard, Brad, and I'm a builder. I was a very good builder. FEMA has a standard that's so slow. They want permit on permit on permit, and then they want permits on top of that. If you use FEMA, you'll be here for a long time. What I'm saying is get the city, get the state to give you immediate 24-hour permits. These people are going to build their own homes. They're going to get them built fast.
Yeah.
How many of the people, could I ask you one question? How many of the people, what are people going to do for financing? What are people going to do? How many people can build a home, percentage-wise, like where they don't have to go out and get funds? Some people are just not going to be able to rebuild their home because they have a beautiful home, but they don't have cash.
I mean, a lot of those folks whose homes burned down are millionaires, so they'll be able to rebuild instantly. They don't necessarily need loans. They don't have to wait for a bank to approve anything. They can just do it themselves, right? Just hire the contractors, clean up all the debris, hire the contractors, and hey, we're off to the races. But unfortunately, in a place like California, like he said, especially if you involve FEMA on top of that, you got a permit for this, a permit for that, a permit to get another permit. Like it's just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. But hey, man, that's Democrats for you. I mean, it's unfortunate, but I also want to play this interaction or show this interaction between Uncle Trump and Karen Bass because he absolutely calls her out, and I love it. Love it.
6 months
Exactly.
is no good.
And the number one thing that we are going to do immediately, and you will see this happen, is to clear out the debris. And we're concerned right now over the weekend because of the potential rain, but we are going to move as fast as we can, but we want you to be safe, and we want you to be back in your homes immediately.
But the people are willing to clean out their own debris. It doesn't
Yes,
cost
and
a
they
lot.
can,
You
and
should
they are
let them
able
do
to-
it because
No,
by the
they
time you
can do
hire
that.
contractors, it's
Right.
going to be 2 years.
If a family...
People are willing to get a dumpster and do it themselves and clean it out.
And they can
There's
do
not that much left. It's all incinerated.
That's right.
And, it's just going to take a long time if you do. You can do some of it, but a lot of these people, I know that guy right there that's talking. I know my people. You'll be on that thing tonight, throwing the stuff away, and your site it'll look perfect within 24 hours, and that's what he wants to do. He doesn't want to wait around for 7 months till the city hires some demolition contract
If
that's going to
individuals
charge him
want to build-
$25,000 to do his lot.
Yeah.
I think you have emergency powers just like I do, and I'm exercising my emergency powers. You have to exercise them also.
I did exercise them.
Because I looked,
signed
I
an
mean, you have a
emergency
very powerful
declaration.
emergency power, and you
Yes.
can do everything within 24 hours.
Yes. And if individuals want to clear out their property, they can. Well, yes, but you know that you will be able to go back soon.
Mr. President.
We think within a week.
That's a long time, a week. I'll be honest. To me, Everyone's standing in front of their house. They want to go to work, and they're not allowed to do it.
And the most important
week
thing
is
is
a
for
long
people
time.
to be safe.
They're safe. They're safe. You know what?
See, it's a recurring theme. We want to keep you safe, right? We want to keep you safe. You're not allowed to go clean up your own home, the debris from your own home. Grab a, get a dumpster, order a dumpster from some dumpster company and have them drop it off in your front lawn or your driveway, wherever. You're not allowed to do that and go clean up the debris from your old home because we want to keep you safe. How the fuck does that make sense? Like, I understand there's nails and screws and everything, obviously, that hold a bunch of, wood together and whatnot. But that's common sense. People understand that. People know that. People understand that, hey, I could trip and fall, right? There's nails around here, heavy lumber, okay? People understand that. They're not stupid. And also, you're not forcing people to do it. This is them doing it by choice so they can speed up the process. And you're telling them, no, we want to keep you safe, so you can't go clean up your own home. What? Make that make sense. But that's how Democrats think, man. That's how they think. It's just a bunch of bureaucracy crap, BS. And it's covered in a veil of keeping us safe. Goodness gracious.
Well, they're not safe. They're not safe now. They're going to be much safer. A week is actually a long time, the way I look at it. I watched hundreds of people standing in front of their lots, and they're not allowed to go in. It's all burned. It's gone. It's done. Nothing's going to happen to it. It's not going to burn anymore. There's nothing to burn. There's almost nothing to burn. And they want to go in. The people are all over the place. They're standing. And I say, why aren't you going in? We're trying to get a permit. And the permit's going to take them. Everybody said 18 months. You said 18 months. You said 18 months.
Last night.
And that was last night.
On that. Right.
18 months to get a permit. 18 months. And then you had the mayor from LA saying, oh, well, hopefully within a week. Which, if she says a week, it's probably going to be more than a month. Which is also even ridiculous. I agree with Trump. Just let him go in there today. What are you doing? Like, what's the issue? Well, safety. So, sites are going to... Everywhere that is burned is just magically going to be safer in a week. Like, what's going to be the difference? What's going to be the difference? Nothing is going to change. It's not like you're going to go into all of these sites and pick up all the nails within a week before the homeowners actually can go onto their property to clean stuff up. So, like, what's going to change in a week? It's just silly talk. Absolute silly talk, man. And I love that Trump went there and called her out to her face. Like, a week is too long. Like, what? Let him in there today. This is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. He also had talked, like I said, about, putting some stipulations on disaster relief funding, because it is ridiculous that we continually have to spend money and watch California burn every single year. Like, California needs to do, Gavin Newsom needs to do something about this problem. Really, he should be fired. He should be out of there, but, I guess it's not up to me, right? People of California are going to have to vote on that one, which I do think there is a recall effort underway currently, which would be his second one, which is wild to think that this is one of Democrats' top candidates to run in 2028. A guy who was primary or recalled once and maybe recalled a second time during his tenure. But hey, like I said, that's Democrats for you. That's their bench. Gavin Newsom and terrible people like AOC as well. But yeah, Uncle Trump, a true leader. A true leader. Peace and love. I'm out.